Okay, Mr. Phobes here. I'm going to show you how to create your emotional portrait. Um, so we're going to use two hand symbols and a face. You could also use a figure, an action figure, something that you captured on your phone. So you've already learned how to convert your files to PNGs. So let's go ahead and create this. So we're going to go File, New, and let's be in Print. And you may have something that's already set up, but I'm gonna make this 8 by 10. So I'm going to go 8 inches, 8 inches by 10 inches, and CMYK is fine, and high at 300 is okay. Now, if you wanted to do multiple studies, you might want to do several different artboards. So I'm going to set 4, and then let's go to, got to scroll down and go to more settings, and let's just change the spacing to, let's say, 2 inches. And then again, I want the artboards set up so they're kind of like this, but not in a long row or up and down. Make sure columns are set to 2. Orientation is portrait, and then go create document. Okay, so right now I'm just going to work on one. Now let's do a couple things. Go to Windows, make sure that the color is set, layers are set, and swatches are set. Okay. So with that, this little color palette comes up, the swatches palette comes up, and then your layers panel. Uh, you may have it set like this, and that's fine. Uh, so I'm on layer 1 right now. I'm going to eventually create 3 layers, but let's bring in the face PNG. So I'm going to go File, Place, and there she is right there. Right, I'm going to just place it in this one right here. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to image trace it. So we're going to go to Image Trace, and we're going to select Silhouette. Hit OK. And then expand. Okay, now look at this. I've got some annoying stuff right here that I wish I could get rid of. So I'm going to go to the eraser tool, and I'm just going to erase that stuff. Okay, so go back to the selection tool to get out of that. I might want to clean some of this up, but I'm not going to spend time in the video doing this. Okay. All right, so there's layer 1. Now, if I wanted to, I could make a copy by hitting the Option key and copying her over here, and that way, I can try several different versions of how this might work. All right, so this just is better for your workflow. Okay, so that's layer 1. All right, so I'm going to lock that, and now I'm going to create a new layer, and this is where I'm going to bring in the hand. Um, The other thing I probably should do before I go any further is I want to change the opacity. I'm going to bring it down, I don't know, something like that. Okay. All right, I'll lock this layer, and now on layer 2 I'm going to bring in the hand. And I'm going to scale it up a little bit, and I might want to rotate it. So if I come up to if I'm in the selection tool and I come to the corner, it turns into this little curved cursor, and I'm going to do something like that. I'm going to image trace. Okay, and then I'm going to expand, and then change the opacity. Again, if I wanted to, I could bring it over here. All right. Whoops, I accidentally made a copy of that. Didn't want to do that. Okay. Let's bring in the other one. So I'm going to lock this layer and I'm going to make a new layer. And I'm going to go File, Place. Now I have the same image. I wish I had another one, but I don't. I'm going to turn this one completely upside down, kind of like this. I'm going to image trace. I'm going to expand it, and then I'm going to change the opacity. Okay. It's really a lot easier working. I'm going to expand this in layers. Then you don't, whoops, I forgot to hit Shift. Okay. If I want to see what it looks like cropped, I can go to View and I can go Trim View, and it kind of shows me what it'll look like just in terms of the composition. So again, I want to have an open form composition so that these are coming off the page. It looks like I've captured a larger situation. Now I'm going to go back. I'm just looking at the face, and I'm kind of wishing it was a little bit bigger. Hit the Shift key, and I'll pull her over like this. Something like this is pretty good. All right. So it creates these nice negative spaces. I'm going to move this up just a little bit. So I mean, if it was really a stretch, you could think of the hands as sort of being loving, tender touch, whatever. Okay. All right. So there we go. I've got the composition. Now I need to change the scale, the values. Okay. So I'm going to select. So this is. I'm actually going to select these individually by hitting the Shift key, because I don't want to select all these other ones. All right, and I'm going to go Object, and I'm going to go Flatten Transparency. Okay, and then I'm going to go Object, Ungroup. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need one of the images has to be 100%, one needs to be 10%, and one needs to be 50%. So I'm going to select the face, and I'm going to select black. Okay, and then I'm going to select this, and I'm going to make this 10%. Now see, the slider comes up, so I could also, the K slider, I could just go to 10 or 12. Okay, and then on this one I want it to be 50, so it's very close. All right, I could have also selected the swatches. All right, now I want to these values need to be the average between them. So if this is 50 and this is 100, then I would add 100 plus 50 is 150 divided by 2. This should be 75. All right, and then this one, if it was, so this one is 11, and black 111 would be, let's just make it easy. Let's, whoops, got to be careful about that. I'm going to this should be 10. There we go. Now that means if I divided, so 100 plus 10 is 110 divided by 2 would be 55. All right. So there we go. That looks transparent. Now what I want to do is let me lock these layers, and I'm going to create a new layer, layer 4, but now I want to pull it to the bottom because I need a background. It's very important. So I'm going to go to the rectangle tool. I'm going to start at the corner, and I'm just going to drag. Okay, so whatever value was in the palette, that's going to be the background. I need something that's going to work with all these other values. So again, what I can do is I can just mess around, play around with this until I get a value that works. That's not bad. That looks like it's different than the other values, and that looks pretty good, right? Uh, so what I can do now is, if I like it, I'll just go to the artboard tool, and I'm going to, I'll go File, Export. Let's export as uh, JPEG. I'm going to call it well, actually what I should do is let me save the whole thing as an Illustrator file. So I'm going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to go Portrait. Uh, and I'm just going to save it as an Illustrator file. So I'm going to go Save. Okay. Now what I want to do is go to the Artboard tool, and I'm going to export just this one. I'm going to go File, Export As. I'm going to export it as a JPEG. It depends on how you're going to use it. We'll talk about that, but let's export it as a JPEG. Go Use Artboards, and then Range. I'm going to do 1. Okay, now when it comes up for color model, let's go to CM or go to grayscale and then go OK. All right, so that'll export. So that's it. All right.